I never imagined that at 29, I would be sitting in a lawyer's office, staring at adoption papers my parents had hidden from me my entire life. Yet there I was, watching everything I believed about my family collapse, all because I refused to hand over my house to my younger sister, Emma. The irony was brutal. Just 6 months earlier, life had felt perfect. After years of coding late into the night, saving every extra dollar from my software developer salary, and sacrificing almost every luxury, I had finally bought my dream home, a beautiful 3-bedroom craftsman with a wraparound porch in a peaceful neighborhood. It was the kind of house I had always imagined building my future in. "You did it, sweetie," Mom had said proudly during my housewarming party, hugging me tighter than usual. Dad even looked emotional while helping me move furniture. For once, I thought, they're proud of me. Because growing up, that didn't happen often. Emma had always been the center of attention, beautiful, charming, adored by everyone. While I earned grades, wrote code, and quietly built my future, she collected praise effortlessly. My successes were acknowledged politely. Hers were celebrated like family holidays. Still, I loved her. That's why when she announced she was pregnant with twins during family dinner, I smiled and congratulated her. But then came dessert, and the real reason behind that dinner. Emma casually mentioned how her apartment was too small, how twins needed space, how children deserved a yard. Then she looked directly at me. "Your house would be perfect," she said sweetly. At first, I laughed because surely she couldn't be serious. She was. Mom immediately joined in. "Emma needs it more than you do." Dad added, "You're only one person. You could move back home." I stared at them, convinced I had misunderstood. "You want me to give up the house I spent years saving for?" Emma's eyes filled with tears instantly. "Don't be selfish, Sarah. Think about the babies." That was the beginning of weeks of pressure. Calls, messages, family guilt, Emma posting emotional updates online about selfish relatives refusing to help a pregnant woman. Mom crying on the phone. Dad promising they would help me find something smaller. But I kept saying no. Because for the first time in my life, something belonged entirely to me. Then came the family meeting. That night, Emma wasn't there. Just Mom and Dad sitting in silence, a thick envelope on the table. Mom's hands shook. "There's something we should have told you years ago." Dad opened the envelope. Inside were adoption papers. "You're adopted, Sarah." The words hit like ice water. Emma, they explained, was their biological daughter. And then Dad said the sentence I will never forget. "Her babies are our only biological grandchildren. You need to understand why this matters." Suddenly every childhood memory made sense. Every difference. Every invisible line I had always felt but never understood. I asked quietly, "So I was only important until blood needed something from me?" Mom cried. Dad tried to explain. But their explanation only made it worse. Then I told them the truth. I already know. Because a year earlier, I had taken a DNA test. And that DNA test had led me to my birth mother, Catherine. We had already been talking for months. And unlike them, she told me everything honestly. A week later, Catherine arrived. The moment I saw her, it felt surreal. Same eyes, same smile, same face reflected back at me. For the first time in years, I felt something strange. Peace. We spent days talking, sharing old photos, understanding lost years. And then Emma arrived unannounced. She stormed into my house demanding I stop embarrassing the family. But Catherine was there. And Emma hated that. Immediately. Then Emma made her biggest mistake. She said, "These babies are Mom and Dad's only real grandchildren." Real. That word changed everything. Because I had already learned something she didn't know. I had spoken to Jason's mother, Emma's supposed boyfriend, and Jason had undergone a vasectomy 3 years earlier. Which meant, the twins were not his. When I said it aloud, Emma broke. Completely. Crying, shaking, confessing. A married man. An affair. A lie. And suddenly Mom and Dad, who had spent weeks trying to force me out of my home, realized the truth. They had nearly destroyed one daughter to protect another daughter's deception. That day ended with all of them leaving my house in silence. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel guilty watching them go. Because peace had finally chosen me. 6 months later, Emma had the twins and moved back in with my parents. Catherine bought a small house 10 minutes away. We have dinner together several times a week now. Mom still sends messages. Dad forwards family pictures. I archive everything without replying. Sometimes healing means distance. Sometimes family is not who raised you, but who finally tells you the truth. Yesterday, Catherine and I sat on my porch watching the sunset. She asked softly, "Do you regret finding me?" I looked at the home I fought for, the peace I earned, the truth I finally had. And I answered honestly, never. Because sometimes losing the family built on lies is the only way to find the family built on truth. Sunrise sparkles.